always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Greetings and salutations. Hello, good people of Earth and the known universe. You're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. I'm your Captain Keith, and we've got some entertainment news for you today. Today's podcast is called There's Something About Kanye, and Weed Saves Lives. Ask Kevin Smith. So, I mean, where do we start, people? Where do we start? Oh man. So we'll ease into it. Kanye West premieres new single Ye vs. the People with T.I. on Power 106 LA. That did happen. Ye vs. the People, and yeah, so we'll talk about that. So after trolling us hours earlier with the song Lift Yourself, Kanye West decides to follow that up with the second song. And it's a real one this time. Ye vs. the People featuring T.I. It premiered on 106, and it finds Yeezy and Tip going back and forth and addressing Kanye's controversial Trump comments this week. Ye starts the song off with, I know Obama was heaven sent, but ever since Trump won, it proved that I could be president. Before later addressing wanting to be unified, you just read in the headlines, you don't see the fine print. You on some choosing side crap. I'm on some unified crap, he spits. Of course, he didn't say crap, but, gotta be mindful. Yeezy even raps about wearing his, MAGA, Make America Great Again hat, saying he wore it to show them all people are equal. Bruh, I never stopped fighting for the people. Actually, wearing the hat will show people that we're equal. It's safe to assume this is the first official offering of his forthcoming album. While we wait for the CDQ to surface, you can. So let me get you some of the quotable lyrics from this track. Bruh, I never ever stopped fighting for the people. Actually, wearing the hat show people that we're equal. You got to see the finer point of the people. What makes you feel equal makes them feel evil. See, that's the problem with this damn nation. All blacks got to be Democrats. Man, we ain't made it off the plantation. So that's a soundbite from the song Ye vs. the People. I did hear the song with him and T.I. and I like the song, but surprisingly, I like the song because I like T.I.'s verses and his response to Kanye. I like the argument that they're having about, what it means when you say Make America Great Again and the Trump era. I like it. It's a very fascinating song. It's a good song. So, but T.I. is the one who made me like the song, actually. And, he did. So we'll, like I said, we're going to ease our way into There's Something About Kanye. There's more Kanye to come. Just be patient. Funketeer legend George Clinton calls it quits. He will retire from touring in May 2019, so next year. I had no idea. Legendary rock and roll Hall of Famer and pop music icon and funk music icon George Clinton announced today that he plans to retire from touring May of 2019. Clinton, who turned 77 this July, is most noted as producer, frontman of Parliament Funkadelic, whose classic recordings and legendary stage performances served to establish funk music as a popular accepted musical genre. Yes, indeed. Clinton recently underwent a procedure to have a pacemaker placed in his chest, but stresses that the surgery did not factor in his decision to come off the road next year. See, I didn't know that. Okay, well, be careful, George. We want you around for a long time. We love George Clinton. Dr. Funkenstein, y'all. Dr. Funkenstein. This has been coming a long time. He states, anyone who has been to the shows over the past couple of years have noticed that I've been out front less and less. The shows have been great. Truth be told, Truth be told, it's never really been about me, he continues. It's always been about the music and the band. That's the real P-Funk legacy. They still be funkin' long after I stop. What a great guy. Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic have over 50 dates scheduled between now and New Year's, including performances in Europe and Japan. You can always go to www.georgeclinton.com to check him out. In January, Clinton created music news with the release of I'm Gonna Make You Sick of Me, featuring Scarface, the first prominent single in 38 years. Wow. The track with its classic sound will appear on the forthcoming album, Medicaid Fraud Dog, due later this year. He's recording under the Parliament name. That is exciting. I have to see that. You can follow George Clinton on www.georgeclinton.com or Instagram at you like George. Yo like George, YO. So yo like George. Twitter at George Clinton. And Facebook, it's George Clinton P-Funk. Facebook.com. And by the way, I was fortunate. I happened to see George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars this year. I hadn't seen them in maybe like 10 years or so. At 1015 Folsom with Odyssey and Good Company. Odyssey and Good Company opened up for George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. And it was a great show all the way around. It was great to see Mr. Clinton do his thing. I did notice that this time he was at the front of the stage, but he was sitting down in a chair from time to time, conserving his energy. But he was still fun. He still had the vocals. Towards the end of the set, he did perform Maggot Brain, and that was cool to hear. And it was a great show. It was good to see how much fun he was having. And when I was watching Mr. Clinton, he even did a rendition of Big Sean's I Don't Care About You. It was cool. Yeah. Much love to George Clinton. So the music that he's made over these years has been amazing. Parliament started off as a doo-wop group. He used to press hair in Jersey. And they morphed into this psychedelic rock group. And then when he had that lawsuit, he started up Funkadelic. And they were definitely psychedelic rock. And then they morphed into like this amazing funk group. And then eventually both groups became this amazing funk group. And the rest is history. A lot of rappers have sampled George Clinton. So probably the most sampled person is James Brown. And next to James Brown will probably be George Clinton with the next most samples. So, and I'll tell people too, it is my opinion that George Clinton received his comeback off of one sample in the late 80s, early 90s, when De La Soul from 3 Feet and High and Rising, the song Me, Myself, and I, their first hit, that was a sample from Not Just Knee Deep from Funkadelic, off of Uncle Jam Wants You. It is my belief that that is the song that brought George Clinton back to the forefront and made him popular with rappers and put him back into the industry. That's my take on it. So, because I remember that moment when I heard that song and knew where it came from. And then, George was back and he was everywhere. He started doing songs with Ice Cube, like Bob Gunn, and a host of people. So, but yes, I will try to see him again before he retires. If he comes back this way, I will be there. If you haven't seen George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars, go see them. It's worth it. Tyra Banks and her mother co-write a memoir called Perfect is Boring. Yes, folks. The supermodel extraordinaire Tyra Banks, the lovely Miss Tyra Banks, also from America's Top Model or Next Top Model, a hit TV show. Yes. So, and the cover of the book is really cool. It says Perfect is Boring. It's got this great picture of Tyra Banks. She's looking great. Her hair's down and she's got this surprised look on her face. And she's looking like she's about to whistle with the way she has her lips tuned. And she has a big lipstick mark, a lipstick kiss, red lipstick kiss on her left cheek. And it says, Perfect is Boring. This is Tyra and her mama. And then... And then when you read closer, it says, 10 things my crazy, fierce mama taught me about beauty, booty, and being a boss. Yeah, I might have to buy this book. I'm intrigued already. Tyra Banks believes natural beauty is unfair, and during her latest interview with People, she confesses, "I get really uncomfortable when women who are these natural beauties judge anybody who does anything to themselves." Banks and her mother have written a new memoir, Perfect is Boring, which details the pitfalls of both Tyra's life and career and gives advice on ways to pick yourself up and bounce back from the ups and downs. It's cool. In the book, Banks reveals that she got a nose job early in her career. Okay. "I had bones in my nose that were growing and itching," says Banks. "I could breathe fine, but I added cosmetic surgery. I admit it. Fake hair. And I did my nose. I feel I have a responsibility to tell the truth." Right on, Tyra. Right on it. That's good. There ain't nothing wrong with telling the truth. So she got that out the way. So then there's the rest. So both Tyra and her mother, Caroline London, a former nurse and photographer turned Tyra's sometime manager, promised that Perfect is Boring is more than a book. It's a movement. The glow up dished with Tyra about building a career with her mama and what she hopes readers will take away from in regards to Perfect is Boring. Okay. So they asked her some questions. What are 3 of the most important things that you and your mom have learned from each other about staying sane in the business? Tyra responds, "Sane? That might be a stretch." "You know, my mom and I are crazy," in capital letters, "but this business is tough." I mean, what do you do when someone tells you they're crazy? I mean, how do you respond to that? Especially if you're like attracted to them. In most cases, when people talk about a brand or product, it's about the brand or the product. In the entertainment industry, we learned early on that I am my product. My body, my face, my personality, my private life is my product. And if you don't like what people are saying, you can either tweak it and stay the course or find a different audience that will appreciate what you have to offer. That's great advice, actually. My mama also taught me to leave it before it leaves you, aka knowing when to move on when it relates to business. I did this when I stopped modeling and really owned my retirement and turned it into a major television moment at the Victoria's Secret fashion show, similar to what athletes do when they retire their number or when boxers proclaim, "This is my last fight." And lastly, I took my work as a model very seriously. It's called the modeling business, not modeling playtime. When work is over, I didn't party and stay out late. I went home and put my booty to bed so I could be energetic and ready to tackle the obstacles that stood in the way of my goals the next day. So what do you wish you and your mama had known going into the business? Tyra says, "For both myself and my mama, we wish we'd known how competitive it would be. At that time, the industry only allowed for one black model at a time to be the tippity top. It created some really unhealthy and super painful situations for me. If we had known about the nature of the business that practiced tokenism, I could have been better prepared to deal with the personally heartbreaking outcome of that racism that was so prevalent." What's the message you hope people take away from your book? No matter what the situation was, my mama always had my back. I want people to feel like someone's got their back after they read the book. By having conversations about taboo things or uncomfortable topics, it's actually being real. I want them to have the confidence to reach out to their mama, whether or not it's their actual mom or dad or auntie or BFF, etc., and be able to talk about stuff that makes everybody at the dining room table blush. I like that. Yeah, that sounds like a really good book. I'm gonna have to check that out. So right on, Tyra Banks. Once again, her new book is called Perfect is Boring, Tyra and Her Mama. 10 things my crazy, fierce mama taught me about beauty, booty, and being a boss. It's almost like a tongue twister, man. Okay. Also, Marlo Hampton says there's no way to sugarcoat Kim Zolciak's racism. Wow. So Real Housewives of Atlanta star Marlo Hampton is calling out Kim Zolciak over her BS claim that it's not racist. saying she 100% has issues with black folks, as evident by her accusing Nene Leakes of living in a roach nest. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. We'll get more into the story after this break.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, people. Once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Keith, and more entertainment news. So we're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta and Marlo Hampton. So actually TMZ had caught up with Marlo after Sunday's Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion show, where most of the cast ganged up on Kim Zolciak for the roach comment. Marlo says, in the black community, roaches are synonymous with poverty and imply you're living in the projects, which is a far cry from Nene's lavish Atlanta era home. Kim vehemently denied she was being racist and claims racism today is bullcrap because of social media. She also said she felt attacked by 5 African American women on the show. Marlo says that the problem in the first place, Kim's ignorance to her own racist comments. And by the way, Kim's not coming back for next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, wow. Meanwhile, Kyle Richards says that if Kim ever found herself in the 90210, she's welcomed by the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You know, she's welcome to that cast now that she's left the Atlanta franchise. TMZ caught up with Kyle. It's Kyle or Kylie Richards, leaving Craig's in West Hollywood, where she came to Kim's defense saying she didn't think Zolciak was being racist. Kyle or Kylie believes the black women on the reunion show were brutal to Kim, and she believes that Zolciak is being genuine when she says she's open to all people, which Kim attempted to clear up in a lengthy apology on social media. Wow. So, lots of drama on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Who knew? I guess everybody who watches it but me, so there you go. So Destiny's Child reunites again in West Hollywood for Designer's pop-up shop video. So yes, so shortly after the whole Coachella festival or concert, where Beyonce, apparently just killed it, just was, doing her thing, owning it. Then she brought out Destiny's Child for a reunion, and the fans loved it, of course. But they made a public appearance. Looks like Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle Williams were under the same roof again this week to support designer Peter Dundas at the debut of his traveling pop-up shop in West Hollywood. Sporting a little black dress, Bey joined former bandmates Kelly wearing a sequin silver jumpsuit and white blazer, and Michelle in an all-black ensemble with sparky heels for the special night out. So that's nice. Cool. Byron Allen could be getting into the movie theater business. So Byron Allen Entertainment Studios is in an early talk to acquire Landmark Theaters, which is on the sales block. So for those of you who don't know, Byron Allen is a very prominent media mogul, very successful. He just recently, we'll talk about that. I will tell you this though, Byron Allen was a comedian, and I first saw him on the TV series called Real People back in the day. This was before there was cable television, so I'm dating myself. but I won't tell you how old I am. I won't do it. But yeah. So that's how I knew Byron Allen, and I had no idea that he was going to become this huge media mogul that he is today, this entertainment force. So let's get into this. So we are pursuing the acquisition of numerous companies that have excellent management and brands and distribution, content, cable networks, and technology. Yes, we are looking at all opportunities, including the Landmark Theaters, Allen told Deadline. Should Allen acquire Landmark, it would be the latest addition to his media empire, which includes his theatrical feature division, Entertainment Studios, Freestyle Releasing, which also does day and date releases, the Weather Channel, which he purchased at an estimated $300 million back in March, as well as 7 24-hour HD television networks, Justice Central TV, Pets TV, Comedy TV, Recipe TV, Cars TV, ES TV, and My Destination TV. Entertainment Studios is also the largest independent producer of first-run syndicated programming. Landmark Theater spans 53 venues and 255 screens, many locations of which are comprised of leases. Allen and Entertainment Studios will have their first presentation at CinemaCon next Wednesday. In more entertainment news, J. Cole's KOD debuts at #1 with the biggest sales week of 2018. So he's doing it once again. Mr. J. Cole, Jermaine Cole is back. It's Cole's 5th consecutive #1 album. It debuted at #1 on Billboard 200. The album has moved 397,000 equivalent album units, making it the biggest sales week of 2018 thus far, surpassing Justin Timberlake's Man of the Woods, 293,000 of that figure. 174,000 units came through in traditional sales, making it the second best week in that category after JT's 242,000. It is the 5th of J. Cole's albums to reach #1 on the Billboard 200. Each and every one of his previous albums topped the charts. For Your Eyes Only, 2016, 2014, Forest Hills Drive. That was done in 2014. Born Sinner in 2013, and Cold World, The Sideline Story, 2011. Of those albums, only Born Sinner did not debut in the top spot after coming in below Kanye West's Yeezus in 2013. The album hit #1 in its 3rd week. Okay. On top of those achievements, Cole's album is the biggest sales week for a rap album since Kendrick Lamar's Damn, which moved 603,000 units last May. Cole's KOD single, ATM, is expected to become the rapper's second song to crack the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 this week. Currently, Cole's only song to reach those heights is 2016's Deja Vu. Meanwhile, the #2 position on the Billboard 200 is occupied by Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, which moves 91,000 units in its 3rd week on the charts. Next week, Cole's album will compete with Post Malone's Beer Bongs and Bentleys, which broke a Spotify streaming record set by KOD on Friday. I mean, that's one heck of a name for a record, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. I'm kind of curious about that myself. Okay. So, Mel B from Spice Girl fame, also known as Scary Spice, she has slashed the price of her Los Angeles home down to $7.5 million. What's that about? So, Mel B. Brown has been relisted her lavish LA home with another price cut. According to Page 6, the Spice Girl initially put the home on the market after splitting from her husband, Stephen Belafonte, early last year. The divorce was finalized in December. The home, which is now priced at $7.5 million, was listed last March for $9 million. When no buyers stepped forward, the price dropped by $1 million. A month later, with no sale, it was eventually taken off the market until this week. So, the owners still stand to make a hefty profit from the potential home sale. As Realtor.com previously reported, Mel and Stephen purchased the property in 2014 for $4.3 million and then gave the place a makeover. But who will benefit from the proceeds from the eventual sale? The Daily Mail reported that Mel and her ex are now warring over the home, although the two apparently agreed initially to split the profits, but Brown has reportedly backtracked. Meanwhile, according to TMZ, Belafonte said Brown made it difficult to sell because she allegedly refused him access to the home to make repairs. The 4-bedroom contemporary was redesigned in 2016 with no expense spared, according to the listing description. The property boasts a chef's kitchen, a home theater, and a top-floor master suite with sitting area and private balconies. Details include baccarat fixtures, high ceilings, walls of built-ins, and a lighted bar. Additional highlights include a recording studio, hey, can't go wrong with that, gym, game room, plus 2 more en-suite beds and a family room. The extensive outdoor space includes a lounge area, fireplace, flat-screen TV, summer kitchen, and pool and spa. The 1928 estate was once a home to Rudolph Valentino and sits next to Clark Gable's former home. Isn't that something? The movie heartthrob, Rudolph Valentino. Who knew? Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Some more stuff for you. Growing Up P-Funk, panel with George Clinton's grandkids, set for this May 4th. So, more stuff from the George Clinton camp. This presentation marks the debut of this club single, the premiere of Becoming Candy Apple Red. It's a documentary short film. So, and it's Candy, K-A-N-D-Y, and then Apple, and then Red, R-E-D-D. So, today, Homegrown Entertainment announces Growing Up P-Funk. It's a conversation with grandkids of legendary George Clinton. It's the R&B duo Candy Apple Red, granddaughters of Dr. Funkenstein himself. They will be joined by their cousins, Traze and Young Popular, for a no-holds-barred panel discussion about their experience growing up as kids in the entertainment business and as part of music's most flamboyant dynasties. The Growing Up P-Funk panel will be held on Friday, May 4th on the campus of Full Sail University at the Treehouse from 3 to 5 p.m. and is open to students of the university. Students will be treated to the world premiere of the documentary short film Becoming Candy Apple Red, introducing the audience to Tanisha Nelson and Patavian Lewis, professionally known as Candy Apple Red. And if I said your name wrong, please forgive me. I'm trying. The docuseries style film explores their quest to establish their own musical identities, separate from their legendary grandfather. Immediately following the screening, Candy Apple Red will be joined by their cousins, Traze Lewis Clinton and Young Popular, who are also third-generation musicians, who will share stories of road life with P-Funk, life as the youngest members of the Clinton clan, and their mission to create contemporary hit music. Candy Apple Red will treat students and music fans joining in on Facebook Live at the Candy Apple Red fan page to a short performance. Very cool. We are excited to share our story with the students at Full Sail as they launch their own careers in music. We hope to share both the joys and frustrations of this life that chose us, and to offer our encouragement while we celebrate this thing we all love, music. Tanisha Nelson and Candy Apple Red. So, we are excited to have George Clinton's grandkids join us to share stories about their life in music. Their unique vantage point as part of the legacy of a music icon is an extraordinary opportunity for students to gain distinct insight into the industry. Israel Vasquez, Department Chair, Entertainment Business and Music Business, Bachelor of Science degree programs at Full Sail University. That's what he stated. The presentation at Full Sail University marks the May 4th global release of Candy Apple Red's new single, This Club, at digital streaming and retail outlets. With doses of hip-hop and R&B, the dance floor ready song was written and produced by their cousin, Traze Lewis Clinton. Clinton was named by his grandfather, George Clinton, himself in Rolling Stone as one of his contemporary musical favorites. Wow, okay. So pre-save and follow on Spotify here, so you can check them out at Spotify. There would be a https distrokid.com hyperfollow /CandyAppleRed/DCDV. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to hearing their music and their style. So yeah, but that makes sense. George Clinton would be a grandfather by now. He might even be a great grandfather. He's 77 this year. And he's got granddaughters and grandsons doing music. That's awesome. Keeping it in the family. So I'll definitely have to check them out. And once again, that's spelled Kandy and then Redd. So, and we'll be back with more news, entertainment news. And once again, we have to talk about There's Something About Kanye and Kevin Smith, weed. What's the connection? Back after this message.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, party people. Once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. I'm Captain Keith. And we have some more news for you. So, once again, there's something about Kanye. Keeping up with Kanye to there's something about Kanye. Where do we start? Kanye West appeared on TMZ Live yesterday. And maybe he shouldn't have, but he did. He took to his so-called Dragon Energy crusade there to try to explain the impetus for his Twitter comments, but he ended up getting a dose of hard, cold reality by TMZ staffer Van Lathan, who felt offended by his words. West was also there to explain how he came to tweet his political thoughts and views. It was really just my subconscious. It was just a feeling I had, he said. We don't know how to think for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. I just love Trump. That's my boy, he added. Trump is one of rap's favorite people. Kanye went on to discuss slavery and made some very distasteful comments about it. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, pause. That sounds like a choice, he said. Like you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all. He later asked the newsroom, "Do you feel that I'm being free?" and I'm thinking free? As I stated previously, he got the attention of TMZ's Van Lathan. And Van has a few things to say. I thought I had that quote to read to you. Because it's one thing to see it. I saw that footage of Van discussing his feelings about what Kanye had to say. He was disgusted at Kanye basically implying that African American people who were slaves, that was their choice, that they chose to be that way. And Van Lathan took issue with that on TMZ. And it's caused quite a stir. And there's been quite a backlash to Kanye for making that remark. So what I will say, let's see. Kanye did attempt some damage control. This may have been his most controversial statement to date. it's just ironic because at one point there was controversy when he had stated that, George Bush doesn't care about black people. So we went from that Kanye West to Kanye West saying 400 years of slavery was a choice for African American people. So yeah, things are getting surreal, folks. They're getting kind of crazy. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to start with this. So Kanye, once he realized that, what he said, stirred up some strong feelings in a lot of people. He was unfollowed by Ariana Grande, and one more person, but I forget who. I'll have to get back with you on that. So Kanye did go to Twitter to do some damage control, and the rapper clarified that he does indeed understand that people weren't brought on slave ships of free will. However, he kicked off, his latest Twitter rant by stating, "We need to have open discussions and ideas on unsettled pain. To make myself clear, of course, I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on the boat by free will," he wrote. "My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. They cut out our tongues so we couldn't communicate to each other. I will not allow my tongue to be cut." He later came to the realization. He later came to realize why P. Diddy named his TV network Revolt. The Nat Turner movie never made it anywhere because it showed slaves revolting. I understand why my godbrother Puff calls his network Revolt. So then there's some tweets below from what he said. And it's the same thing. One of his latest tweets or later tweets that day, Kanye versus the media is modern day Willie Lynch theory. They hung the most powerful in order to force fear into the others. They can no longer stop our voice. If this was 148 years ago, I would have been more like Harriet or Nat. Oh man, the universe has the universe has a plan. I knew that TMZ would be awesome. We are programmed to always talk and fight race issues. We need to update our conversation. I'm sorry, folks. I just, have to. I enjoy doing this podcast, and I enjoy giving you the news and talking to all of you. It's just sometimes I just get caught off guard with some of the things that people say. I just, The reason why I brought up the 400 years point is because we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now. Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea. Folks, I'm shaking my head in the studio. You can hear me shaking my head. So I'm just like, wow. Another tweet from Kanye. In school, we need to learn how Magic Johnson built his business, not always about the past. Matter of fact, I've never even heard of a high school class that presents future ideas. When the media masses and scholars talk about what started today, here's a title: The Overground Hell Road. So that's that was what happened yesterday at one point of the day. And then shortly after that, because when you watch the TMZ footage of Kanye, so once again, Kanye, if I didn't tell you folks this, so Kanye West went to TMZ Live yesterday. I think I already said that, but let me be clear. So, Harvey and cohorts and his colleagues, they always, interview different people they catch on the street. They talk about what's going on in the entertainment industry. It's a great show. Everyone has seen TMZ. Don't say you haven't, because you'd just be fibbing. It's a great show. So it's rare to get a celebrity to come into the studio and talk live about what's going on with his or her life. So Kanye did that. So that's probably like the most watched TMZ episode ever at this point. Yeah, I believe that. So he's sitting there talking to Harvey. It's just, it was just, I was just in awe of what I saw, in awe and of shock. There aren't really words. But at one point, Kanye stated that he had to go get liposuction. He said he did that for y'all because he didn't want y'all, us, the people, as in Ye versus the people, to call him fat like they did Rob Kardashian, who was so upset he allegedly flew back home and missed Kim and Kanye's wedding because of the fat comments. So first and foremost, I've never heard of a rapper openly and publicly stating that they got liposuction. So yeah, that was new. Didn't see that coming. And then he started talking about how he was addicted to opioid pills and how he was taking 2, and by the time he left the hospital, he was taking 7, and that his friends, his homie, told him that they give these pills to kill genius. So yeah, so that was said at TMZ along with the comment about slavery in 400 years. So because Kanye openly admitted to getting liposuction, of course, Mr. Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, had to say something. 50 Cent roasts Kanye West for getting liposuction. Come on, that was coming. And there's this great picture of the two of them at some awards ceremony, and they're standing next to each other, and 50's got like this beige or off-white blazer on and his open collared shirt, and jeans, and he's got a microphone in his hand, and he's looking at Conway like please. That's all I can say on the mic is please. And Kanye's looking straight ahead like he doesn't notice that 50's looking at him like that, like he's crazy. It's just a great picture. But yeah, it was only a matter of time before 50 came through with some jokes. So over the past several years, many people have been wondering what exactly happened to Kanye West when he had his mental breakdown. Reports initially said it was due to exhaustion. However, Kanye later revealed that he was submitted to rehab for his opioid use. Earlier today, he provided more context and revealed it was due to the fact that he underwent liposuction surgery during an emotional rant. Of course, it didn't take long for 50 to share his reaction to Kanye West's recent reveal. 50 Cent took to his favorite social media platform to chime in on Kanye West's recent appearance on TMZ. While he didn't comment on Kanye's controversial statements on slavery, he did seem to find Kanye's liposuction surgery hella entertaining. Wait, with the face. That's what a chick do when she want a fat ass. Laugh out loud. And believe it or not, I actually censored what he said. He said in the caption, Fifth's voice is heard in the background as Kanye West explains his scenario with opioids. High as a mother scratcher, he said, while Kanye addressed his addiction. 50 continues to egg Kanye on from the computer screen until he reveals he had plastic surgery. 50 then says, what? That's a censor too. Before laughing hysterically. 50 had a lot of jokes to get off today. Prior to this, he continued trolling both Jim Jones and Hell Rell on Instagram. Either way, it's good to know someone found some humor in all of this. Yeah. Then there's more Kanye. Like I said, there's something about him. There's more. Kanye West on drug addiction. See, I have to excuse the pause. I just, I have to collect myself here. It's just, yeah, I'm enjoying this podcast. I really am. Thank you for the news, Mr. West. Thank you. Kanye West on drug addiction, Jay-Z, slavery, and more. 9 things we learned from his recent interviews. Kanye West he's opening up like never before. The 40-year-old rapper may be expressing his thoughts and opinions on Twitter, but on Tuesday, he came clean in real life, getting candid in 2 lengthy sit-downs. Kanye sat down with Charlamagne the God from iHeartRadio's The Breakfast Club for a 2-hour interview and later made an appearance on TMZ Live where he revealed a past drug addiction, a plastic surgery procedure, got candid about his mental breakdown, beef with Jay-Z, and so much more. And we're going to talk about that after this break. But you know what? Before we get into that, when we get back from we're going to get into that. And still we got Kevin Smith and weed. Yes. So we'll be back after this message.
Golden State Media Concepts bring you Book Review Podcast, a haven for bookworms of all ages and the widest genres, from mystery to memoirs, romance to comedy, fantasy to sci-fi. If you love to read, this is a podcast for you. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Book Review Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Keith, and there's something about Kanye. Yeah. So, of course, we already stated that Mr. West admitted to getting liposuction, and he admitted to being addicted to opioids. So, that's one thing. Some more stuff. His infamous Taylor Swift VMA moment and Kim Kardashian's robbery led him to his hospitalization. Kanye calls his breakdown a breakthrough, though he said that his feud with Taylor Swift, his wife Kim Kardashian's robbery and stress led him to his many problems. When asked what he thinks caused his breakdown, Kanye answered candidly: fear, stress, being in control, manipulation, like being a pawn in a chess piece of life. Ever since the Taylor Swift moment, it had never been the same. The connection with radio, he had whatever the powers that be, it was much harder. Kanye told Charlamagne that he also had trouble dealing with his wife, Kim Kardashian West, being robbed at gunpoint while she was in Paris, France in the fall of 2016. Yeah, that was a big deal when that happened. I remember all that. Yeah, that was pretty scary. And I remember watching Kanye West was on stage touring when he got the news, basically dropped the mic and left. He had to go. Had to go be with his wife. I mean, it's understandable. That stuff is scary, The situation with my wife in Paris and feeling helpless, he said, I went to Paris on that trip to protect her. Not to protect her physically, but to go and help her with her look because she's in Paris. One of the things that she heard was they were coming to rob her, but they had to wait until I had left. All these things were set up to put me on meds. The robbery, I don't know where that came from. Was that a bigger plan, a bigger setup? Also, being on stage 4 times a week, you get exhausted, he shared. His feud with Jay-Z left him feeling hurt. I was hurt about them not coming to the wedding. I understand they were going through some things, but if it's family, you're not going to miss a wedding, he told Charlamagne. I got to state my truth. You start coming up with all types of crazy things in your head, Kanye added, noting that he started to feel like the cousin that you can't bring around. He relayed some controversial opinions on slavery and black icons. When commenting about Harriet Tubman potentially being on a $20 bill, Kanye said he'd rather use Bitcoin. Oh, Kanye. Oh. It's like when you see all the slave movies, why you got to keep reminding us about slavery? Why don't you show us put Michael Jordan on a $20 bill? Yeah, he actually said that. He expressed. He then referenced Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and said that certain icons are not relatable anymore. Okay. I know this is going to cause an uproar, but certain icons are just too far in the past and not relatable, and that's what makes them safe, he said. Additionally, during his TMZ Live interview, he added, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. You was there for 400 years, and it's all of y'all. We're mentally in prison. He wants to change the stigma around mental health. I want to change the stigma of crazy of mental health, period, he told Charlamagne. Best believe I'm going to take the stigma off the word crazy. To him, the Kanye rants are about bravery and the importance of feelings. I think to do the rants, we're brave. I think we're in a place now where bravery is more important than perfection. Feeling is more important than thought, he expressed. People put so much thought into it, what's going to happen. So I actually think the rant came from a place of bravery, and I had enough of the politics. His views on Donald Trump are about challenging the norm. Earlier this month, Kanye tweets about Donald Trump caused controversy on social media. Yes, he did. I love challenging the norm. I love people who don't love him. I love the fact that they speaking up and everybody's just giving their opinions, he told Charlamagne. I've been waiting for this moment in time. This is like a yay moment in time. I can tell you that when he was running, it's like I felt something. He added, when asked about Trump's attitude towards minorities, the fact that he won proves something. It proves that anything is possible in America. When I see an outsider infiltrate, I connect with that. He still loves Barack Obama, even after the former POTUS called him a jackass. Nobody's perfect, he said. I love Obama. I'm sure we'll hang out, go to Richard Branson's island. It'll be cool. I just think that we are in a period where he had so much stuff to do that he couldn't deal with a wild card like me. He's still grateful for his relationship with Scooter Braun, even though he thinks he just can't be managed. This month, Kanye parted ways with his former manager, Scooter Braun, but the two seem to have a strong friendship. My last and final manager was Scooter Braun. I just can't be managed. What's dope about Scooter, at the end of the day, his parents adopted a black child. His brother's black, he expressed. This is a Jewish guy who understands business, but also understands how to communicate on a personal level with a black person. Like on a brother level. Me and Scooter would get on the phone and he would talk to me for hours, and that information meant everything. He was Kanye West's gateway drug to business. Okay. Not quite sure what that means, but okay. So that's all we have for Keeping Up with Kanye. Or excuse me, there's Something About Kanye. That's what this podcast was with that. Jennifer Lopez is glad that Alex Rodriguez sees her as a great role model for his daughters. So, J-Lo is just trying to be the best mom she can be. She was interviewed from Entertainment Tonight's Nichelle Turner. She called up with the 48-year-old entertainer at the World of Dance's FYC event at Saban Media Center in North Hollywood, California on Tuesday, where she talked about being a great role model for her kids as well as her Mother's Day plans. It depends every year, Lopez replied about what her 10-year-old twins, Emmy and Max, will do for her. The kids just always plan a little something. It's always very sweet. And I try to always see my mom and take her out for a minute. Nothing too crazy. Lopez's boyfriend is Alex Rodriguez. He also has two kids of his own, daughters Natasha, 13, and Ella, 10, who look up to her. The former Yankees player has previously spoken about raising his girls to be strong and smart women, just like J-Lo. For me, he's so lovely and he's so supportive and encouraging of everything that I do. She explained, I'm glad that he sees me that way, that I would be a good role model to his girls. I'm just trying to be a good mom to mine and the best I can be for all four of them. Meanwhile, as the World of Dance gears up for a second season, Lopez has thoughts about the dancing reality show being considered for an Emmy. Yes. It would be awesome to get a nomination, J-Lo expressed. I don't know why there's all this talk. I'm hoping maybe you guys know something that I don't. It's definitely a great show. I'm super proud of it. It's even better this year. There you go. Johnny Depp sued by ex-bodyguards for unsafe working conditions and unpaid wages. Oh, Captain Jack, say it ain't so. Johnny Depp is facing a new lawsuit filed by two former bodyguards who are suing the Pirates of the Caribbean star for unpaid wages, wrongful termination, and unlawful business practices, among among numerous other allegations. In documents obtained by ET, private security professionals Eugene Arreola and Miguel Sanchez say they were employees of the private security firm Premier Group International and claimed they were assigned to protect Depp. When the 54-year-old actor faced a financial crisis in 2016, Depp cut ties with the company, but hired both Arreola and Sanchez individually, according to the lawsuit. They claimed that they were told they would be classified as employees and receive all the protections and benefits they were entitled to under the law. The bodyguards who claimed that they formed close friendships with Depp's family and friends during their years guarding the movie star alleged that between 2016 and 2018, things began to spiral toward chaos, and that they found themselves in situations that required more than what a bodyguard would be expected to do. That could be a book, y'all. That could be a book. The things that we saw working for Johnny Depp. Probably need a better title than that, but it sounds good already. The lawsuit alleges that the bodyguards were asked repeatedly to drive vehicles that contained illegal substances, open containers, and minors, and were asked to monitor unstable individuals in Depp's life and entourage. Look, Johnny Depp is basically like a rock star in Hollywood. He's a rock star actor in Hollywood. So, yeah. If you're going to work for Johnny Depp as his bodyguard, it's not going to be, I just don't see, him going to Home and Gardens every night and going home for a pleasant meal and being home in bed by midnight. Nah, I don't see that with Mr. Depp. So you say you want to work for a movie star or a Hollywood star or, a heartthrob or someone who's a Hollywood's bad boy or playboy. Okay, now, what they say, be careful what you wish for. Additionally, the bodyguards claim that they were exposed to unsafe conditions and situations. As a result, they suffer stress-related injuries created by a hostile and unsafe work environment. Arreola and Sanchez also claimed that for nearly 2 years, neither of them were paid overtime wages despite working 12-hour shifts. They also claimed that they were not given their legally mandated meal and rest breaks. Many of the claims in this suit, particularly allegations of the toxic and dangerous work environment and constant labor code violations, are directed at the head of Depp's private security detail, Leonard Damian, who was claimed in the documents to have been their direct supervisor. The documents also detail an incident in which Damian allegedly accidentally shot himself in the leg while playing with his weapon in a small control room on Depp's property. When Sanchez says he had no choice but to rush Damian to the hospital, the documents allege that Arreola and Sanchez were forced to leave their jobs despite claiming that they enjoyed many of the people they worked with and had no ill will toward Johnny Depp. The bodyguards are asking for all wages and penalties due to them, plus interest. Additionally, they are seeking damages for alleged unpaid overtime and meal breaks, as well as payment for their attorney fees and court costs. So, in Entertainment Tonight has reached out to Mr. Depp for a reply, but there has not been one as of yet. So it sounds very above the board. It doesn't sound like the bodyguards are asking for millions and trillions of dollars. It sounds very legitimate and very sincere. Pays for lost wages. Talk about the meal breaks. They were really about, working their job as normally as they can as bodyguards, working for someone who's part of the Hollywood elite. So it sounds very above board. It sounds very straightforward and so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that case. So Kevin Smith's doctor told him smoking weed before his heart attack helped save his life. Yes, folks. Hollywood director Kevin Smith, who gave you Chasing Amy, Dogma, Silent J and Bob and J, Silent J and Bob or Silent Bob and J, Strike Back. Kevin Smith's been around for a while. He's made some great movies. Yeah, he's also been considered very controversial, especially with films like Dogma and Chasing Amy. But yeah, the look I have for this picture where his eyes are just like bugged out. So Kevin Smith has found a new t-shirt slogan. 2 months after unexpectedly suffering a massive widowmaker heart attack at the age of 47, the comedian has divulged new details about the fateful night, including how he managed to come out of it alive. So, as he previously explained, Smith was shooting a stand-up show for an upcoming Netflix special, Silent But Deadly, when he suddenly didn't feel well and didn't quite know why. While he insisted he was fine, paramedics brought him to a nearby hospital where he learned he was in the midst of a serious attack. While Smith thought maybe the weed he smoked before the show had spurred the attack, that turned out to be not the case at all. I honestly thought I was too high, he recalled to Stephen Colbert on the Late Show Tuesday night. I had smoked a bunch of weed that day because I was doing the show. Then I smoked a joint right before the show, and I got off stage, and all of a sudden I had a heart attack. I asked my doctor, after this was all done, I was like, I hate to ask this question, man, but did I have a heart attack because of the weed? Because I smoked a joint right before the show. The doctor replied, no, in fact, quite the opposite. Smith recalled his doctor telling him that weed saved your life. As his doctor explained, the weed had helped him stay calm despite all that was happening to him and how serious it was. He said, you kept calm. They told you you were going through stuff, and you kept calm the whole time. So that joint saved your life. He recalled his doctor saying, as Smith quipped on the Late Night Show, I'm putting that on the t-shirt. You can always go to Stephen Colbert's Late Show and see that interview and see that clip where he talks about that. Well, Kevin Smith, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're safe. Heart attack is no laughing matter, but I'm glad you're still here to talk about it and live to tell another tale. And just take care of yourself. And we're glad that, who knew? Yeah, that marijuana can save lives. Well, I guess we know now, according to Kevin Smith. And folks, you've been listening to Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Keith. And thank you once again, good people of Earth and the known universe, for listening to me and to us. Appreciate you. And I'll see you somewhere out in space.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.